Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video we are diving deep into drippi.ai, one of the best platforms out there to automate your Twitter outreach. Whether you're looking to grow your audience, generate leads or scale your business, drippi.ai might just be the tool you need. With Drippi you can connect unlimited Twitter accounts, send up to 500 DMs per day per account and take your Twitter outreach to the next level. In this video, I'll not only review Drippi, but I will also walk you through a step-by-step tutorial on how you can launch your campaigns. Plus, I'll break down the pros and cons to help you decide whether or not this is the right tool for your needs. If you're new to Twitter outreach and wondering if it's even worth it, I can assure you that Twitter outreach does work and a lot of people having success with that. I have generated hundreds of quality leads using this method and now I prefer it even more than doing cold email outreach. The reason being is that Twitter outreach is significantly more affordable than email outreach. If you're doing it at scale, you don't have to buy all these domains and email inboxes, worry about your email reputation and landing in spam, as well as you can send links in your initial DMs, whereas if you send a link in your initial email, you're most likely to land in spam. And most importantly, Twitter is a social media platform. People there expect to receive messages and you can really design your profile to be more appealing and credible. So let's briefly cover what kind of features Drippi offers. First of all, it has a built-in scraper letting you scrape thousands of profiles from Twitter based on your specific criteria. It uses advanced AI to analyze Twitter profiles, helping you to send highly personalized DMs while boosting your reply rates. And you can also monitor your campaign performance with advanced analytics. You can track reply rates, categorize lead responses, and make data-driven decisions to optimize your campaigns. Before we launch our DM campaign, let's quickly cover the pricing. So we have two paid plans here, starter for $76 per month and unlimited plan for $115 per month. And it also has a free 7-day trial allowing you to experience this platform risk-free. I will leave the link to this trial in my description, and if you use my link and decide to subscribe later after you finish your free trial, you will get 25% off for your first 2 months with Drippi. So that's a great deal. The major difference between starter and unlimited plans is the DM sending limits. Starter plan allows you to send up to 50 messages per account per day, while the unlimited plan gives you unlimited messages, which is 500 DMs per day. That's how many DMs you can send on Twitter maximum. And if you're really on a budget and you're happy to send 50 messages per account per day, you can check out the X-Reacher. This platform allows you to do that completely for free. In fact, I've done a complete X-Reacher review. I'll leave a link in my description so you can check this out. But if you want to send more than 50 DMs per day, Drippi is probably going to be a better option just because it has more flexibility and more features. There are other few important things we should cover when it comes to pricing plans are the AI credits and lead credits. The starter plan gives you 1,000 AI credits per month, while the unlimited plan gives you 3,000 AI credits per month, and while the starter plan gives you 1,000,000 credits per month per account, unlimited plan gives you 5 times more than that. If you want to learn more about how the credits work, drippi.ai has great documentation on that, which you can find on their site. But basically, AI credits are used for actions like finding users, analyzing profiles, and generating DMs, while lead credits are used for importing leads from followers, likers, retweeters, or CSV files. This is probably the most important thing to keep in mind. When you're scraping leads, it will use 1 credit per lead scanned. So for example, if you want to scrape someone's followers and that person has 2,000 followers, it will use 2,000 credits to go and scan each follower. So you always have to be mindful while using which profiles you want to scrape, because the bigger the following, the more credits you will use. Lastly, the unlimited plan allows you to connect multiple Twitter accounts to your dashboard. Here you can use the slider to adjust the amount of accounts you want to connect, and the lead import credits will adjust accordingly. And if you want to connect more than 15 accounts, you can reach out to these guys for the enterprise plan. Now let's go and create our drippi.ai campaign. So here I am at my Drippi dashboard, and the first thing you want to do is to connect your Twitter account. It's really easy. You just go here, click on add the account. I already connected my account. You just press add an account and basically connect to your Twitter. Next, let's create new automation, and here we have 3 options. You can either send outreach messages to users you imported to a lead source, automatically send messages to users who interact with one of your tweets, and automatically send messages to new followers. We will do the most efficient option, which is called DM 2.0, and here it asks us to select a lead source. The problem with that is that we don't have any lead source so far. So what we have to do, we have to scrape some leads. So let's click on find leads, add new lead source, and here we are presented with 4 options. We can either scrape lookalike leads, which finds leads similar to our existing customers or ICP. Well, we don't have this information yet, so we won't use it. Then we can use lead scraper to scrape leads from a tweet or Twitter profile. If we have a CSV file with our leads, we can use this option to import that. And we can also use the database search on beta version to import leads from Drippi's internal user database. I haven't tried this feature yet, so I don't really know whether it's powerful or not. But what I do know is that regular lead scraper does a fantastic job for that purpose. So we will use that. In this step, we should add the account source we want to scrape our leads from. This is going to be someone whose followers you want to target. So think about someone who has your target audience. If you're in the coaching niche, maybe it's Tony Robbins. If you're in the fitness niche, maybe it's Jeff Cavaliere, and so on. If you need some ideas, you can always turn to your best friend ChatGPT. You can write something like, I'm in the X industry, give me a list of popular people in my field who my target audience might follow on Twitter, include their handles, and ChatGPT will give you the list. I'm targeting marketing agencies, so I'm going to scrape followers of Brian Dean, assuming a lot of agency owners, especially in SEO space, are following this guy. So copy his profile URL and paste it here. And here we can choose, we can either scrape his followers or people he follows. And of course, we're going to hit his followers because there's simply a lot more leads in this case. Add source and click next. And this is the interesting part. We have 5 filters we can use to narrow down our targeting, and that's where the Drippi truly shines. It gives us some fantastic targeting options. We can filter leads by the number of followers they have, number of people they follow, number of tweets they have published, filter by the keywords they have in their bio, and we can also exclude certain keywords from their bios. Let's start with the number of followers. I like to do this greater than 8,000. This increases the chances that the accounts we are targeting are active on Twitter and they are more likely to see our DMs. The number of following, I don't normally touch that because I don't think it's really relevant, but you can do something like greater than 100 if you like. Number of tweets, I like to do this greater than 100. This is again to ensure that these accounts are more likely to be active. And this is the most important part. Here we will add elements which must appear on the lead's bio that we want to scrape. You can add elements like words, phrases, symbols, links, or you can paste a list of words. In this case, I will add some words like agency. I'll add also marketing and maybe SMMA. Again, if you need ideas, you can come to ChatGPT and ask it to give a list of keywords that are relevant to your industry. As it says here, user bio must contain one or more of the following elements. So this scraper will pick profiles that have either agency or marketing or SMMA in their bios. While adding keywords and filters, make sure to keep an eye on this number. The more filters you add, the fewer leads you will get. So make sure not to overdo it. I'll keep it broader and only leave agency. As you can see, our leads dropped from 14,000 to 909 since I added a word agency as a filtering criteria. That's not too many leads, to be honest. And of course, you can experiment with different account sources and filtering parameters to get a higher number of potential leads. One more very important thing to mention when it comes to targeting, if we decide to add another group of bio content filters, for example, I add something like marketing here, the scraper then will only scrape the accounts that have both agency and marketing keywords in their bios. This is very powerful if you want to have very precise targeting, but for that you'll probably have to scrape accounts with larger following to get higher number of leads. As you can see, we only have 303 leads remaining since I added another keyword. So I'm going to delete this. And lastly, we can exclude bio contents. So if you don't want to target certain industries, like for example, crypto is very popular on Twitter, you can add crypto related keywords like blockchain, Bitcoin, NFT, and so on. That also helps you get more targeted leads. Now that we have our filters set up, the last thing we have to do is to give our lead list a name. I'm going to name it test and hit save. So the scraper is running and I'll get back to it once it's done. So the scraper has finished its job, and I'm going to be honest, the Drippi scraper is probably not the fastest in the world. It took me over 1 hour to scrape all those leads, whereas the X-Reacher, which I mentioned in the beginning of this video, does it in a few minutes if not seconds. So the scraping time is one of a few disadvantages that Drippi has. Nevertheless, I still love Drippi, even though I have to wait a little bit for my leads to get done. So here we have 562 leads. We can download this list if we like to, but I'm going to go straight into creating our automation. I'll click new automation, call DM again, and finally we have our lead list. So here we can choose either to personalize our existing script or instruct the AI to write the entire personalized message each time. I like to have more control over my messages, so I will use my existing script with some AI personalization. Now it's time to write our DM scripts. Here you can choose between standard and advanced personalizations. These two use different GPT models, and the advanced mode uses more AI credits. So just keep that in mind. I'll stick to the standard mode. The first thing here is to add some context to the AI, explaining who you are and what you do. You have the instructions here on how you can do that, and these guys suggest you to follow that example provided. So I'll do that. I sell proposal automation, so I'll write, I am AI automation expert and I help agencies streamline their proposals with AI. Now let's provide a script for our initial DM. You can personalize your script with website, first name, last name, business name, job title, and you can do custom personalization as well. So you can do that in the brackets as it suggests here. What I like to do is to instruct AI to go through the profile's recent tweets and give a lead some sort of compliment. So I'll say, hey, first name, custom personalization, and I would say analyze 10 most recent tweets of the profile, pick the tweet that has the most engagement and give the compliment. Sound natural, not robotic, keep it 100 characters max. And after that, I'll just continue with my regular script. Quick question though, how do you currently handle proposals and contracts in your agency? I built a simple AI automation that instantly creates personalized proposals and contracts so you can send them in seconds instead of hours. Want me to send over a quick video to show how it works? Okay, so I'm not the expert on Twitter DMs. You can do your research on how to craft them, but basically it can be really straightforward. You don't have to be formal like you would be in the emails. By the way, there are millions of other ways how you can personalize your script. You can, for example, ask AI to go to their website, analyze what they do, and use that info in your DMs. If you need some good personalization tips, you can check out this video from Drippi. This guy explains how you can use Drippi AI personalization to its best. I'll just keep it simple and use what works for me. And here on the left, you can conveniently preview how AI personalizes your messages before actually sending them. So let's do a few examples. Hey Stefan, I loved your recent post about helping businesses grow with genuine passion and energy. Let's do another one. Hey there, I loved your recent post about winning the Best Small SEO Agency Award. Huge achievement. And let's do the last one. Hey Ryan, I really loved your recent tweet about effective customer acquisition strategies. It's spot on. That sounds really good, and it definitely adds value to your DMs as it gives the impression that you actually went out there and checked your prospect's profile. Here in the settings, we can set the AI creativity level. The bigger it is, the more freedom AI has to be creative. I like to keep it as is. Here we can choose to split our DMs. So if we turn this on, it will split our message into multiple messages based on the line break. So for example, this would be our first message, this would be our second message, and so on. Honestly, I don't really see the point in doing this. Each message will use our daily limit, and I don't want to spam people with multiple messages at once. I think that's annoying. So I'll turn this off. Next, include website context. If we are asking to scrape lead's website, we can choose between scraping his main website or all websites. I'm not asking AI to scrape websites, so I'm not worried about this. And include tweet context. I'll keep pinned tweet only because in case there's no pinned tweets on their profiles, AI will turn to scrape all recent tweets anyway. Next, you can add variants. Basically, these are the variations of your initial DMs. They help you to appear more like a human to the Twitter algorithms, so your account are less likely to get flagged. But since we are doing AI personalization, and like the third of our message will be unique each time, I don't really see the point of adding variants in this case. But if you are sending static DMs with little to no personalization, you definitely should add a few variants to keep your messaging slightly different each time. Next, we can add follow-ups. This feature of Drippi I really love. And this is a huge advantage over Xreacher because Xreacher does not offer that. So basically, as you would add follow-ups in your email sequences, you can add them here too. It's definitely a good idea because a lot of leads might not respond to your first message. So it's always worthwhile to send 1 or 2 follow-ups to grab their attention. You can say something like, any thoughts, first name. After that, you can say something like, hey, just checking if this message reached to you. Of course, you can write something more valuable here. I'm just doing this as an example. And you can add as many follow-ups as you like, as well as schedule them in your specific time frames. For example, you can do this after 3 days, maybe this one after 5 days, and so on. I'll delete that and hit next. And finally, we have to name our campaign. I'll name it test. Select the sending account if you have multiple accounts connected. Set how many messages we want to send either per hour or per day. Here we have advanced scheduling options, where you can pick specific days and times you want to send your DMs. And in the advanced settings, you have options to skip previously contacted people with your account. It's always a good idea to have this on. Automatically like one of the user's popular tweets before sending a message. I like this one, so I'll turn it on. Here you can choose not to send messages to the leads you have in the do not contact list. This one is set on by default. I'll leave that. If you want to include or exclude leads with certain languages, you can do it all here. Here you can set the number of days your lead was active ago before sending the message. You can then select automatically follow the lead before sending a DM. But imagine if you send 500 DMs per day to new people, you probably don't want to follow 500 new people each day, right? So let's keep this off. Same applies here with auto retweet. You probably don't want to retweet each of your leads' popular tweets if you are sending DMs at scale. Prevent cross-account duplicates. If you have multiple campaigns running, you can check this option to prevent sending messages to the leads that have already been contacted with other campaigns of yours. So this option is similar to the first one, skip previously contacted, but this one prevents duplicates on the campaign level rather than on the account level. And lastly, AI location check. You can turn this on to include or exclude certain countries. You can also set minimum GDP per capita if you want to target richer countries. So these additional options are super nice, but it would probably be nicer to have some of them presented before we actually scraped our leads. Like for example, AI language check, activity check, or AI location check. We could have all this before scraping our leads, because now we're kind of filtering leads for the second time, which feels a bit redundant. Anyway, everything seems to be set now, and I'll hit start the automation. So I have my automation up and running. I've sent 4 messages so far. Here you can see brief analytics of how many replies you got. AI will categorize this into positive, negative, or unknown replies. Down below you can view the messages that have been sent and how many AI credits each of them used. And from here you can also pause your campaign or completely end it. The last thing I want to touch on is Unibox. Here you can conveniently manage and reply to all of your messages in one place. You can also sort your messages by unread or unreplied. And you can also assign tags to the certain leads for better organizing. Oh, and also you can see my message here is merged into one paragraph, which is not the way I crafted it. This is just how Drippi displays it here. In reality, my message is actually nicely divided into the line breaks, and it shows up like that in the Twitter. So don't worry, your messages will go out in the same way as you design them in your DM editor. So here we are almost at the end of the Drippi AI review, but what kind of review it would be if I haven't covered the pros and cons. To wrap it up, I'll break down what I honestly think is good and not so good about this platform. While talking about pros and cons, I will take into account Xreacher, probably the best Drippi AI alternative out there, which I've mentioned multiple times in this video, because there's no point in covering what's good and what's bad if you're not aware of the alternatives, right? So let's start with the negatives. First of all, Drippi Scraper is relatively slow in comparison with Xreacher. It may take hours to get your lead scraped, while Xreacher does it in minutes, if not seconds. But if you don't mind to wait a little bit every time you're scraping leads, that shouldn't be a problem. Secondly, although Drippi has a free 7-day trial and decent price point, there is no free plan, whereas with Xreacher you can currently start for free while selling 50 DMs per day. Finally, with Drippi, you may experience occasional bugs and errors. It seems like the software isn't fully polished yet. Sometimes you may find your campaign stopping for no reason or your Twitter account disconnecting. However, this issue could be due to the Twitter itself rather than Drippi. So those are the negative aspects I have experienced myself while using Drippi. Now let's cover some positives. I have to admit, Drippi offers very advanced lead targeting options. As I covered in the video, you can even filter accounts by the language they use, their activity level, their location, and much more. Then, its AI personalization options are excellent. This is super important to get higher reply rates and close more deals. With the help of Drippi, you can scrape information from your prospects' tweets or even their website. Another amazing thing is that you can conveniently schedule and run follow-ups with Drippi, a fantastic feature that helps you increase reply rates and book more calls. And lastly, Drippi has built-in analytics that help you visualize and monitor your campaign performance. So those are the reasons why I would choose Drippi over Xreacher. And if you want to experience Drippi firsthand, I'll leave a link in the description for a free 7-day trial that includes 250 DMs, 250 AI credits, and 500,000 lead credits. Moreover, if you use my link to sign up and upgrade to a paid plan, you will get 25% off for your first 2 months. A great deal to kickstart your outreach with this powerful tool. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. I really appreciate it. Thank you and see you on the next one.